the first thing, actually, they show the culture first you meet any Thai person because they always say "savadee ka," doing something like this, bowing a little bit, and this gesture, it's like the sign of respect to someone you talk to.
Thank you for coming on, Paulina. I really appreciate it. Where are you calling in from today?
I am in Thailand now, in Phuket, Phuket Island. Yes, and this is the early morning, so it's 6:30 a.m. in the morning.
Now, I've been
Yes,
told that Phuket is a that's a beach paradise town. Is that correct? Is that
that's right. There are plenty of beaches actually, and I haven't visited all of them. All
how
of
big of
them.
a city is that, Phuket? Roundabout.
Well, I cannot say like the exact square of the island, but it's mm, less than New York, maybe six times.
Oh wow. All right. That makes sense. Now, a lot of people are attracted because of the climate there. And of course, I do know that I read a little bit about Thailand even years ago because I actually looked at teaching over there a long time ago, right after I got out of college because the economy here in the US wasn't so good. And somebody said, "Hey, just travel and teach." And when I looked into it, it sounded interesting, but I actually got a pretty good job here. So I stayed. So I did all of this studying and then never got to use the information. Now they have weather patterns there where it's very, very dry and then periods where it's very wet. Are you in a monsoon season now where it rains every day? What's going on with the weather right now?
Yes, that's right. Actually, it's like the peak of rainy season now. So sometimes there are floods in here, heavy rains, but thankfully we live on the north of the island, so uh, it's almost never rainy in here. That's
Wow.
special about the place where I live.
And is that so? Does Phuket also have hills and mountains, or is it just very? So I'm in Florida, and everything in Florida is flat, So we have beaches, but it, the land doesn't go up more than I don't know metric that well, but let's just say 30 meters is as high as the change goes. It's not much.
Yeah, actually, there are mountains, and unfortunately, I cannot show you. But if I turned my camera a little bit and stood up, then you could see the mountain that, like, I can see right from my window, right out of my window.
And as we mentioned, kind of in the pre-show interview, there's another couple in Thailand, very popular YouTubers, and they're in Phuket. They have a business there, and Richie is the husband, and Maybell is the wife, and he shoots a lot of video. So I've seen some of Phuket, and it never fails to impress me. There's a number of restaurants that seem to be at a high point overlooking the water, and I think there's is it the amazing sunrises or sunsets? What do you see from there?
I would choose sunsets, but now it's too cloudy, so
Mm.
unfortunately, in the rainy season, you cannot enjoy the this perfect sunset. It's better to come in winter months, for example, like in February, January. Yeah, these are the best months for vacation or to start your maybe life, your expat life here.
Much more crowded though, correct? I mean, a lot of people come for that high
Correct.
sea. Same thing here in
Yes.
Florida. I'm in a very quiet part of Florida, and
Mhm.
in about 2 months, it's going to be very not quiet. It's people
Yes,
come from
that's
everywhere. The population of the town that I'm in, and this is no exaggeration, triples or quadruples during the winter. And we get Canadians, we get New Yorkers, people, obviously escaping the cold of the north. And Thailand brings people from all over the world. What made you
that's
decide Thailand is the place? And then help us understand why Phuket versus all of the other wonderful cities there.
Well, I would say that my dream was to live by the ocean. So very important was the ocean or the sea while we were choosing. We were choosing with my husband. So we were like in the discussion. And we had some of the options. For example, Thailand. We also thought about Vietnam. We also thought about, oh, let me remember, Bali, Indonesia. But when we looked closer, like we also watched some YouTubers, we also looked at the maps just to see the location, to understand where we are geographically. And Thailand seemed better according to all parameters for us because I don't know, the vibe of the vibe that country is giving you, because the country is what people are like in it, as I said in my videos, I mentioned it before. And this is my second time when I visit Thailand. So before I had the experience of communicating with these people, had the experience of like feeling this climate and this surrounding, like the temples, the sea, like everything like that. So all of that made us decide that Thailand would be perfect start for our family expat life. Actually, I would not call us expats. I prefer travelers more.
Travelers, yeah, digital nomads too, since you do
Digital
some
nomad,
work electronically. Yeah, yeah.
right?
It's funny because people in the US dislike the word expat because it does mean to expatriate, but it's a misunderstanding of the word patriot. They think it means a former patriot of their country, and it doesn't mean that at all.
Something.
It's a completely different word. So people get sensitive, but the meaning is so at first when I first heard expat, I was in the army, so I was like, I don't like that. But I realized it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that at all.
Not like how
Just
it sounds.
yeah, it just means you've expatriated from your own country. But yeah, and so did you say we're gonna give it a week, 2, 3 weeks, or how much time did you commit up front to check it out first?
Yeah, actually we get visa for 3 months here. So 3 months was the starting point, like the time to decide if we want to stay here or we want to change our location.
And Thailand, although it gets a lot of visitors, people are surprised that it's not a country that's very easy to stay a very long time. You know, they love tourists, they want people to come in, so you probably had to go through a little bit more hoops to stay there a little bit longer. Would that be accurate?
I wouldn't say so, actually,
Hmm.
because I have a huge experience of traveling and living in another country already before Thailand. Me personally, like solo living in another country. For example, I lived in Shanghai for 1 year, and also I lived in Maldives for a little bit more than 3 months. That's why I got used to this difficulties and challenges that you have to overcome. uh Mostly for me it's like food, because it's really it's not like in my homeland. So that's why it's um difficult to follow your diet that you used to follow.
What are some of the foods that are available there that you do like? Things that you think, wow, this is pretty good. Are there some dishes there that stick out in your mind?
I like the seafood here because sea is really near, that's why it's fresh and quite delicious. Prawns are good. And also, they have quite fresh vegetables. I like going to local markets and seeing this all vegetables lying there, and they usually splash water around them, over splash water over them. So that's why they always look like shiny, very attractive. You want to buy that. Also some special products from 7-Eleven. Actually, I think you can explore 7-Eleven in Thailand for for forever, because I usually find there some new snacks, unusual desserts. I think Thai people actually are good at making desserts. Mango sticky rice. Yes, they're professionals at that. So what else? What else? Special. I think that's it. Yes, because mostly the products are very similar to ones in China. That's why I wasn't also really impressed by what I see and surprised by what I see because I've already seen that and tried that.
And you had alluded earlier in the pre-interview that you're a polyglot. You speak many languages, which is always very impressive. You know, us Americans, we usually only speak English, but I have some rudimentary German, and have been working on Spanish for a very, very long. So I'm trying to be a little bit more international in my approach. But how many total languages do you speak?
I speak three and a half language, I would say. Yeah, three and a half because I speak English quite fluently, though it's not my native language, but I feel good when I speak English. Then I can speak Chinese. Then I can speak Russian because it's my native language. And I also can speak a little bit of Spanish and French, just a little bit.
Fantastic. Well, from what I understand because you mentioned Vietnam earlier as a potential location, and of course that country has been industrializing, and ever since we kind of left them alone, they really started to flourish, and we're partnering with them now, and things are going very, very well. Their economy is quite impressive, very, very impressive. And the people that I've talked to over the years in Thailand have said that the Chinese influence there in Thailand is getting very, very strong. You know that I had a gentleman on who's a real estate agent in Nicaragua, and the Chinese are also exerting a tremendous. They're building buildings, they're giving quote unquote free buses away, which is going to really help the country. So that's anything good is good. And I assume you were seeing that in Thailand too. So maybe your Chinese, I assume, would come in very handy there, even though maybe you don't speak Thai yet, but the Chinese is spoken
That's
quite a bit.
right. I can tell you the story. Like once I arrived to Thailand, I started to look for offline job. That was my plan because I didn't want to work just online. I also wanted to work offline as well, like at the same time. And the first job I found was at Chinese, mm, let's say company, a Chinese company. They had some business here, like wedding agency, where they organize some weddings for people from different countries, and they really wanted me to work there because I know English, Russian, Chinese. I know social networks, so I could help with um, some advertising. Yes. And that was the first job that I found, but actually I rejected that because I that was too boring for me, unfortunately. I
No,
wanted to work with kids because I love working with people. That's why I rejected that boring office work. Yeah.
now is all of your work in Thailand now, or are you doing some work remotely for other countries?
I work like I'm on my own. I work for myself. So I'm basically an online English tutor, English and Chinese tutor. And here I worked in the international kindergarten as a dancing teacher slash English teacher. So that was kind of mix of teachings and teaching practices. So yeah, I kind of did both at the same time. But now I do not work offline. I work only online because we are planning to move in 2 weeks, actually, to be
Wow.
honest. Yes, to the next location. So I had to quit the job.
I
Yeah.
see. Okay. Okay. Now, one thing that perplexes me a little bit about Thai culture, just because it's so, for lack of a better word, foreign to the United States, is the face culture of saving face of obviously I understand honor. I read a lot of Japanese materials when I had a kind of a fascination with Japanese culture when I was very young. So I understand it from the honor perspective, but the books that I wrote didn't really explain face. So I've had to watch a lot of YouTube videos to understand how that works. Because when I do visit there eventually, which I will, I'm finally getting down the list of those places.
Me
Thailand
too.
is on there. Yeah. And so I just want to make sure that I'm a good ambassador to the United States. I'm a very friendly person. As you can see, I smile a lot, which I know they call Thailand the land of smiles, and people are very pleasant. So I just want to make sure that acting appropriately and in coordination with their culture. So what have you learned about interacting with the Thai people and the culture of face?
Well, the first thing, actually, they show the culture first you meet any Thai person because they always say "savadee ka," doing something like this, bowing a little bit. And this gesture, it's like the sign of respect to someone you talk to. And also, they have some kind of suffix, let's call it like that, suffix. They add that after almost each phrase or each word they say. They say ka. For example, thank you sounds like kapung ka. So this ka goes after almost each word. For example, they can say something in English like thank you ka or get ready ka, for example, something like that. And this is also like the form of respect.
Wow.
And also, I think this is important for people who stay here for a longer time to um, to learn some of like this basic way of um, way of greeting each other, way of communicating to each other, so that you can also show your respect to the person you talk to who is in front of you. I think this is amazing, and this gesture just says a lot about people in here, I guess.
And also too, the crime is very low there compared to a
Yes.
lot of countries. Like when you started to look at Indonesia versus Vietnam versus it, and that's something big that I look at too. I have a fascination now. I'm going through a Nicaragua phase, and I've been there twice. Went there twice last year. Very very impressive. If you love the ocean, they it's like Florida. They have the Pacific and the Atlantic. If you're a surfer, they've got great waves there in San Juan del Sur and Las Penitas and the Pacific coast there. And it's very cheap. Um, Although obviously we can't compare to American prices, but compared to prices where you've been in other places, what is it like as far as monthly rent? Is that, AC? Is it heat? What level are you living at a European level of comfort and what does that cost?
Yes, I would call it European or or Asian, but modern Asian kind of comfort because it's a huge house, 2 floors, like 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, huge living room, quite big. No, no, no. The kitchen is small, but the dining room, the dining space is quite big. We also have a backyard where I'm in now, and that's it. The like, and also a little like roof as a garage for any vehicle, for the car, for a car or for a bike. So this costs us $1,000 a month.
Come
$1,000 a
on.
month.
Come on. Wow. That's a lot of house. That's a two-story house. Amazing. Amazing. And I know this is not going to probably be that the audience isn't going to know much about this, but it's something else very interesting about Thailand. Can you explain what a spirit house is? The little houses on top of the houses.
Oh, yes, I can. Yes, I can. And oh, unfortunately, you cannot see, but it's like right behind me. And these spirit houses actually came from like long before Buddhism tradition started.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yes, and they always believed in spirits, and that's why they put this little altar like outside their houses or cafes or any place where people are. And they usually put some water or any other liquid. Sometimes it's Fanta. They open it, put the straw inside, and actually, it's like a sacrifice for the spirits to keep people safe from evil.
Wow. And I've seen the little glass structures on top of houses too. Like sometimes there's maybe something at the peak of a structure, like another house on top of a house, a little miniature one on top. Maybe that's more of a southern.
Yes, this is not this island tradition.
Oh,
This is
okay.
not common on on the island. I've also been to Bangkok, Chiang Mai, and little Pai. It's a little place near Chiang Mai. I had to pass this place to visit the monastery. I was on Vipassana practice. So that's why I've traveled a lot from like bigger places um from the capital to the little
Mhm.
uh countryside, and I've seen a lot how Thai people live, how they live like in the south and in the north of Thailand, and that was such an interesting journey across Thailand.
And that's a very elongated country, so there's a very vast difference from the north to the south. So I would
Mhm.
assume much like the United States, the culture, like Southern US culture, I'm from the Midwest, so I'm in the middle. I always joke that I can slide into conversations with New Yorkers and be like, "Hey, what are you talking?" Talk real fast, and then I can get down and talk like and I don't want to make fun of anybody, but I can also talk Southern too and get to that speed, which is a little slower, a little bit more friendly. I would assume the Thai cultures are different from between those two regions as well.
I haven't asked Thai people about that,
Mhm.
but I haven't noticed a big difference. However, on the north, in Chiang Mai and in Pai, there are less Thai people who speak English, and that's
Oh,
why.
wow. And I remember what I was going to say before too, when I was tying it into Nicaragua about the crime. So one thing that I like about Nicaragua, it is the second most affordable country in the Western Hemisphere. To get a better price in the whole Western Hemisphere, you'd have to go to Haiti, which is very, I have wonderful friends from Haiti, but that's a very dangerous place.
Mm.
Nicaragua, just a little bit more expensive, extremely safe. The only thing I would say about Nicaragua is that they have petty theft. So if you leave your purse or your iPhone like right out, you're asking for trouble. But there's not like dangerous, violent crime and gangs and cartels, and they don't. I never saw any, and I traveled all over the place, not all over all of Nicaragua, but I saw 10 major cities, and never saw any trouble out during the day, at night. Again, you just can't leave your expensive belongings because obviously, we're living at a higher income level than a lot of the locals. But beyond petty theft, very and from what I understand, Thailand is very, very similar. As long as you mind your valuables and be respectful, you probably won't have any trouble at all.
Actually, I have a story right from yesterday. Yesterday we went to walk our dog in some park zone, and that was closer to the evening. We went there, and unfortunately, the park was closing, so that's why we didn't make it. But we came there, and we left our car on the parking place that we found. And then we walked a little bit till the gates, saw the sign that it's closed, came back. It was around, it took us 30 minutes, I guess, half an hour. But there were quite a lot of Thai people and Thai children playing around, going around. So basically, Thai people lived there, kids, adults, different people, different ages. And after coming back, we realized that we left our car open. We left our car doors open. So it was like obvious that the car was
Oh,
open.
wow.
Yes, and we of course we had our belongings in there, but nothing disappeared, nothing happened. Many people were walking here and there. They were doing some chores, some washing, I don't know, but they didn't touch our car, and that was amazing.
30 minutes. Try that in New York or Miami. So, how do you plan to stay there a lot longer, or do you have your next destination already figured out?
Yes, we have our next destination already figured out. It's gonna be Vietnam. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but it's the city called Da Nang. Da Nang. I hope I'm saying that right. And yes, we are moving in 2 weeks, I guess.
Wow, 2 weeks. Okay. But when you're a digital nomad and you're working online, you really you can do it from anywhere. But wow, that's a deal though. I mean, you're in, so would that rent of the place that you're in now, will that rent go up in the high season? In other words, it's 1,000 a month now. Does it go to 12, 1,500 in the December, February time?
Usually what you're saying is true, but I don't think it's gonna be true about our house. I think it's gonna be fixed price for the next guest, because usually if they land this house for a longer time, then they usually give fixed price and they don't change that according to high or low season. So they just basically say you can rent the house from 6 months to 1 year, and that's the only possibility you can actually
Okay.
live
Yeah.
and rent the house. So that's why um, they do not change the price. They just leave it like that for the whole year and for next people who come.
Well, that's good that you're locked into a fixed price for 6 months because again, I've been told that there's a lot of seasonality there again because of the monsoon season. Now, you all have opted to have personal transportation, like in Nicaragua, for instance. It's easier to own a home in Nicaragua, even if you don't have a residency. They're very actually very easy to own a home, almost the same as the US. But to own a car in Nicaragua, that's extremely complicated. But I was expecting you all to say that you took tuk-tuks or, local transportation, but you opted to rent a vehicle or purchase a vehicle.
Actually, we rented here. We rented a car and a bike.
What's
Yes.
what's the rent in baht per month for the house? That'll give me an idea of the ratio between the cost of the home and the rental.
Yeah. In baht, it's gonna be 30,000 baht. 30,000.
Okay, so about 500 a month USD to rent a car roundabout, which is which
Right.
is which is rel which is not that expensive really because renting cars is an expensive, most people go for the bike or the tuk-tuk or they walk or now as far
Yeah.
as food, are you cooking and preparing food yourself daily or and this really surprised me in Nicaragua, a lot of people eat street food. Their kitchens are very tiny in Nicaragua. So like because
Yeah.
I like to cook,
Same
like
here.
maybe Italian style and I thought where's the kitchen? And they're like you're in it. I'm like, oh, this is very small, but the street food is so good, there's really no need to have it, but I didn't know. You go into that country with what you knew before, so.
Yes, yes, you're right. Actually, it's same here. So, food is really nice, and many locals eat street food. And actually, they usually buy it on local markets or outside. They just sit down on the road right by the shop or the cafe and just enjoy their food, their meal. So sometimes we also do something like that. Yeah. Yesterday we were in an old town. This is in central part of Phuket. It's kind of European area that looks like European city because of the architecture and
Oh,
low buildings that are very close to each other. And at the weekend there is a night market, and like there's a long line of little shops, handmade handmade workshops, some clothing departments, and you can just walk along this, I don't know, the shops, the market, and you can buy food, buy souvenirs, buy clothing, and all of that at very affordable prices. You just enjoy the evening. Sometimes there is live music there, so it's just a nice way to spend your evening, Sunday evening. I think that leaves good impression about the weekend, about Thailand. So just good experience. I really recommend people go to Old Town and experience that by themselves.
And speaking of the marketplace, there are Thailand produces a lot of high-end jewelry. People don't realize that. We have like David Yurman, for instance, which is a very popular designer here in the United States. His jewelry is beautiful. A lot of it's made in Thailand, the manufacturing. And so I actually was on a project where we were having to communicate with some people from Thailand, and they produce some amazing work. They use very high purity silver. A lot of people in the United States, we use 14K gold purity, which is pretty typical. But in Asia, they use 22 karat, this much higher purity gold. So when I go, I do I do plan to, and I'm not a jewelry person, but they just do such a great job there in Thailand that I'd like to get my hands on some of it because the craftsmanship is amazing. And so in the market too, I assume they work with wood, so you can buy handmade pieces
That's
and
right.
leather
It's
goods.
actually furniture and yes, and furniture.
So,
It looks really nice. They are good at woods, at cutting, at I'm not sure about all those verb words, but you can see all those wooden furniture shops, right when you go on highway by car. You can see those enormous tables made out of wood. The whole piece of wood, I guess, they do not cut it and put it all together. They just cut it out of the whole piece. I think that's special
wow.
about the furniture and their skills in it. Yeah.
That's amazing. Very talented artisan. Now, are you going to have to just get the household down to a couple of carry-on bags and go to Vietnam, or are you kind of moving items from the house, or just get on the plane with what you have and go?
Yes, we just pack some clothing, some probably memorable things such as statue of Buddha. I have a little statue of Buddha, and I have to take it with me. So what else? Just the simple stuff. We do not take any furniture. We set up a huge aquarium, like fish tank,
Oh,
in
wow.
the house. Yeah, it's so beautiful. It's so amazing. It gave us so many wonderful moments, but I think we have to leave it here. So have to deal with that somehow, unfortunately. And that's
Yeah.
my that's my PT.
You have two weeks to, obviously find somebody that loves it as much as you all do, just almost just like any lovable pet. Well, that's fantastic. But as we wrap up, I want to talk about your YouTube channel a little bit because that's where I found you, because I watch so much stuff about Thailand. I get recommended creators from Thailand. Tell us about your channel. And also, are you going to be shooting from Vietnam so that we can see a little bit what's going on there as well?
Yes, of course. Actually, I am planning on some episodes from here as well. I'm going to share some interesting stories and my interesting experience from here. And of course, I'm planning to shoot in Vietnam. This is my hobby that um, helps actually not only me, but people as well to know about countries around, about people.
Well, I certainly appreciate you sharing your adventure. Do you have any other projects in the future? Because I know some people, like I talked to Benny Vonkin earlier, he's going to be Wednesday's episode, and this will air the week after that. And I'm trying to convince him to write a book because he's a digital nomad and he's traveled all over the place. So do you have any other a film project or a book project or anything exciting, kind of a
Yeah,
long-term idea?
yeah, to be honest, I'm writing a book. I've started that,
Fantastic.
and I'm not sure about the deadlines because it's just the idea that came up in my mind very quickly, very suddenly, and I just immediately started writing. And I followed the routine of writing for some weeks, but then I got stuck. So I had to stop for a while, do my YouTube channel, relax a little bit from the from text format, and then I think I continue writing maybe in Vietnam.
Fantastic. What is your YouTube channel called? Of course, we'll put the link up on the screen, but does it have a particular name?
Yeah, it just called after me, Polina Krause. So yes, I think it's easy to find me just basically typing the name on YouTube.
Well, I thank you so much. Were there any questions you had wished I had asked that I didn't ask? Anything that you want to share in parting?
Mm, I don't think so. Well, that would be nice if we discuss my Vipassana experience retreat there on the north of Thailand, because that was a wholesome. I had a chance to communicate with monks, to do
Wow.
some long meditations, different kind of meditations, learn some um, Thai Buddhism, and that was amazing. I
How to,
spent a week there, and actually, this is a free opportunity for everybody. Anyone can come there to from 3 to 10 days, and just learn about Thai Buddhism, ask monks the question, try meditations. This place is good for beginners, for people who start their path in meditation, mindfulness practices, and so on. There were so many people from different countries, from Japan, China. There were many Thai people as well, like Russia, Europe, the USA, UK, yes, many people from different countries. So it's also a way to communicate, to find people, new friends. Yes, I think it's great.
how would they search for that online if somebody was going to type it in? What's the best way?
Mm, Actually, the name of monastery is very difficult. It consists of 5 syllables that
Oh,
are
wow.
very hard to remember. It's like Wat Ta Pa Nam Wa, something like that. That's why it's better. Maybe you can put that in commentaries. I can text you after.
Yeah.
Yes, I just text you the name or give you a link actually, because they have nice website where you can
Yes.
read all about that and
And
decide if you want to try it or not.
that's in Chiang Mai?
Yes, it's close to Chiang Mai.
Chiang Mai. Okay, perfect.
Yes,
Well,
yes,
thank you, Paulina. I really appreciate your time. Have a great day. Have a great morning because you have it's night here, but you have a whole wonderful day ahead of you.
yes. 7 a.m. Yes, the whole day.
Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Thank you, Robert. Bye bye.
Thank you for joining us on the Free Time Mastermind podcast. I'm your host, Robert Gaines. To support the channel, please click like, comment, subscribe, and share this episode. The book Scintilla, The Ultimate Guide to Generating Business Ideas, Products, and Services, is now available on Amazon. It's available as an ebook, softcover, and hardcover. Please find the link to the Amazon page in the description, as well as other links relevant to this episode.